Welcome to Bookish Babble. Welcome to episode 3. Today we are going to be talking about the Powerless, Powerful, and Reckless trilogy type thing. Yep, that was good. Let me try that again. No, that was good?
Yeah, keep it in.
Okay. Well,
They get what
We'll
we're
keep it-
saying.
Paige is like, no. Okay. Welcome to episode 3. Today we are going to be talking about Lauren Roberts' series I almost said powerful. Powerless.
We almost got it, ladies.
Almost got it. We're keeping that in. That's just what's happening. It's fine. We are talking about Lauren Roberts' series Powerless, and we are very excited to go over the books that are out already. And obviously we know that there is another book coming out. What is it? April 2025? March?
April.
Okay, April.
Yes.
Also, if you have not read these books, stop what you're doing
listening.
right now. We are going to be obviously
Full
talking
spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers for sure. And we don't want to ruin the experience for anybody, so please stop. I love these books, and I'm very excited for all of us to dive into it. Paige, I know you have a hot take that this was your favorite book so far of 2024, right?
Oh yeah, you said hot take and I got scared. I'm like, what?
No.
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 Not a hot
Like
take.
it's not really a hot take. I feel like a lot of people really love this series and this book. So I mean,
Yeah. You're tatted up. You tatted yourself
Yeah,
up
I'm
because of it.
tatted up. These are totally real. I have the arrow from Reckless, and I have the sword from Powerless on both my forearms. Yeah.
yeah. We went to the midnight release party
Mhm.
in New York for the Barnes & Noble. Me and Paige. Katie was not able to come, unfortunately. But I got you the tattoos too. We just forgot
Yeah.
them. It's fine.
And
It's okay. I'm just a bigger Powerless
But-
fan than y'all.
the limited Barnes & Noble's release. Limited
Yes.
edition Barnes & Noble's release.
And it's
Signed.
It is signed.
Thanks to our men who went and got extra copies.
That's
Yeah.
true. We love them. But yeah, so very excited to delve into this book. Let's start with Powerless. The one that started it all.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that also she's younger than me. Pop off, sis. I love that for you.
Wait, Peyton?
No, the
No, the
writer.
Oh, the
Writer.
author.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been telling you
But
that.
she's your age though.
She's 21, just like
Yeah.
me.
And I'm like,
I think actually I'm actually older than her because I turned 22 in a month.
yeah, it's crazy. But she's so talented. So I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited that all of the good stuff that's happened for her so far. And I'm very excited for this last book. But let's go into Powerless. I keep saying powerful, but it's Powerless.
It's okay.
I don't know why I'm falling apart today, but it's okay. So, Paige, since this is your favorite book of 2024, tell us why.
I don't really think there needs much explaining.
I know.
You guys read the book. I mean,
know.
so it's easier for me to say that this is my favorite book that I've read this year because I read Throne of Glass last year.
Yes.
You've read it this year.
Yes.
So it's easier for me to be like, oh yeah, of course 2024 Powerless is definitely my number one read. It was the first book this year where while reading it, I was literally giggling, kicking and screaming. I was at work. Imagine me giggling, kicking and screaming at work
I'm dead.
when I had free time, like during lunch or whatever. And like there were parts in this book where I literally like the page I was on, I would like open the book and shove my face into the middle and like scream.
When Kai goes, oh, darling. Oh, my gosh. What are you
No.
trying to do to me?
That and literally near the end of the first book where they almost kiss and then they get
Yeah.
interrupted, I literally just went, no!
I know. And he's like, I'm literally going to kill you. What do you want? Like, what is so important right now? And I'm just
Yeah.
like, but the voice actor.
I was just going to say,
The audiobook.
I only listened to Kai's
Guys, chills.
chapters on the
I know.
audiobook. I would like read Peyton and then I'd be like, all right, the next chapter's Kai. Let me close my book and pick up the audiobook just so I can hear his voice.
Well, I said all of us.
I think that like I listen to the audiobook for a lot of the books I read and it helps me really get into like the headspace of it, especially when there's voice actors who do the different voices so I can differentiate the characters better. So I do think that the audiobook definitely like aided my like 6-star rating that I gave this book,
Well
because it
deserved.
exceeded 5 it
Well
exceeded it exceeded 5 stars for me. So I think without the audiobook narration it would have still been 5 stars for me, but what made it a 6 truly was Kai Azer's voice actor making me
dead.
absolutely melt
Nothing
when
to
I would
do
read
with,
it.
like the writing whatsoever.
Well, no, it's not even about that, because on its own it's a 5-star book, but what
Yes.
Yeah.
made it even better was Kai Azer's voice actor.
Yeah, what's his name? It's Chase, right? Chase.
I think Chase Brown.
Chase Brown. I didn't know if that was right or not, but
It might not be. I could be completely blowing
we
smoke
could-
up your ass.
Yeah, right. Like I don't know, but yeah, I loved it. And Katie, I know recently you just read these books.
I read it all 3 in the past week.
Yeah, you literally finished Reckless today.
Today. I finished it like 3 hours ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
insane.
I think for me, to piggyback off of what Paige was saying, to what I really appreciated, which I haven't read this in other books yet just because I'm not a huge reader yet, but I haven't read a lot of books from like the first person perspective. And at first I was like, okay, how am I going to get into this book? Because it's switching characters frequently, and it's, you know, each chapter is a different like character, and so
It can get
it can
confusing.
get confusing.
Yeah,
But what made it so good was the author had such a different writing style for each character, and it really
Yeah.
helped personalize it.
100%.
you could tell like who's who.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When authors do that, that is like a big thing, is when you read a book and you can tell the difference between the certain characters, because it's hard when you're reading it on a page where it's just like, oh, you know, here's Peyton and here's Kai, but each character in these books has their own very distinct voice and personality, even without the audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot. I love when writers do that, because that to me is great writing.
Yes.
100%.
So
Yeah, she's just so talented as an
at
author.
21,
I know.
at 18, she wrote
21.
this at 18.
I know. I'm so excited to obviously again see how this ends, but she also says that she has so much more in store, like other ideas she has, which I'm excited. I mean, she knocked it out of the park with these books, so it's like there are people that don't really love Reckless, which is fine. It's fine. Everybody's got their own opinions.
It's a very character-driven book.
yeah, and
Yes.
even she says that as well, that it's
Yeah.
more for like their bond.
It's also
Yes.
aiding in the progression of the story.
Right. I just loved, like we were saying again, all the characters in these books and just the banter between everybody.
10
out of 10.
Yeah,
It was
she
great.
knows how to write characters. She really
Yes.
does. Like that's
Mhm.
her. Like I feel like Lauren's strongest, like aspect of writing, I guess, is just she knows how to write characters very well.
Yeah.
The chemistry and like the dynamic of all the characters' relationships, they're different, but they're written so well. It's so hard for me to articulate what I'm feeling about it because of how
Excited.
much I loved it. Like, I am not that edumacated.
Dead.
I am not a like literary major and English major. I don't know how to like put it into words like why it's good.
Right.
Mm.
I don't have the terms. I just know my brain liked it and it's
I was happy
good.
reading it.
Yes.
It kind of brought me back to like, it gave me a little bit of nostalgia. It brought me back to like a Hunger Games era.
Did
like,
you read Hunger Games?
Yeah. And so it brought me back to like
didn't.
that.
I didn't either.
But even like if you watch the movies, like that
Yeah.
2012 like middle
Dystopian.
school dystopian kick that everyone
Yeah.
was on. It was like
Mhm.
Hunger Games, and then it was, what was the
Divergent.
Divergent, like all
Yeah.
of
And
those,
Maze Runner.
Maze Runner,
Yeah.
all of those dystopian-esque like type, that era we lived through. It kind of
Mhm.
brought me back to that.
Oh my god.
So it
we
was
did.
super nostalgic for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I would agree with that. I don't know. I just loved it. It was just a good book. It was so good. I just
It
love
was
I could
my
sit here-
favorite this
Okay.
year.
I know.
So which one so far was your favorite out of the three?
They're so
Love
all
the
of them are
question.
so different. Like the first one, again, it's like that Hunger Games, like trial and craziness and like the love chemistry and all that. And then we have, Powerful, which is, the novella for
So
Adina's story. Oh, beautiful. Heartbreaking, but beautiful.
Yeah.
And then Reckless, which is, again, their chemistry and them coming together just for the ending to be like, what did Kitt just say? Like, I don't know. They're just so different, but I don't know. This is hard. I was like, I'm going to say this one, but I don't know. I guess I would say Powerless.
Just said it at all.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because it's just, it's so good. And yeah, I don't know. I just like, because it there's just a lot more going on, I guess, in Powerless.
Yeah.
Because again, in Reckless, it's mostly the characters bonding more than they were, I mean, they were bonding a lot in Powerless as well, but in Reckless, it's like just them essentially, and like doing some things together, but it's really them just connecting on a deeper level and realizing like that they love each other.
Yeah.
He says it, but she doesn't, because she's afraid that, every time she says it, she loses somebody, which when she said that, I was like, oh my gosh, like that hurt, man. That freaking hurt.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
He falls first trope.
Love that. Which one is your guys' favorite?
Oh, Powerless.
Okay.
Not a question. It's my favorite book that I've read this year. It was
I
so good.
know.
And like, I remember you recommended it to me.
I did.
Then you did. And then like I watched you pick it up in Barnes & Noble, and I'm like, the cover's really damn pretty. And then I saw some reviews, and it was
She's
like,
judging a book by the cover.
I damn right. Yeah. I will get to that in a hot minute. Not right now. But Powerless, you recommended it to me, and I heard, I think literally from Lauren Roberts' TikTok, she said it's like a Red Queen meets Hunger Games. I've read neither, but stick with me. I have always wanted to read Hunger Games. I've always wanted to watch it. I don't know what happened. I kind of just skipped over it in my youth.
It happens.
But I love, my favorite trope is like Deadly Trials.
Yeah,
And
because
Deadly
you really like the
Competition.
Naturals, and I haven't read that yet, but I feel like you've read it, so
I've read the first 2 books.
Yeah, and I feel like it's kind of this, well, at least the Powerless vibe with like the trials. Maybe I might be wrong. I feel like it's gonna be that vibe. Am I wrong?
For the Naturals?
Yeah.
That's not.
Well, no, I know that's not what it is, but like I feel like it's that vibe of
Are you-
like the Hunger Games type. No.
No. I think you're thinking of a different book. You gotta be.
Well, look,
Naturals
I
is
didn't
like it's children prodigies solving crimes like with the FBI.
Oh, yeah, I'm wrong. That's what, because I didn't
What
know
were
what
you
I didn't know what it
thinking
was about. That's what I thought for some reason that it was gonna be like some type of trial type vibe. I don't know. I'm
Nah,
wrong.
babe, that's gonna be your first thriller. Reading
Oh
those
no, I'm
books.
scared.
At least the covers are pretty.
True, I have the pretty covers. You don't.
I know.
It's okay.
Anyway.
Anyway, continue.
But yeah, you introduced me to it. Haven't seen Hunger Games or read it or read Red Queen, but reading that, I didn't know what I was going to expect, but I heard like there were trials involved, and I was like, okay. So I read it, and like 40 pages into it, I was like, I don't know.
You almost DNF'd it?
No, I did not almost DNF it.
Okay, good.
It was interesting enough to keep going, but I was like, I don't know, it's a little slow. I kid you not, at like the 45 to 46 page mark, I was like, I'm in. Buckle up. Here we go.
Take a seat.
Take a seat. Hold on tight. Anyway, but like the book literally was just a great roller coaster for me, and I was not expecting to fall in love with the characters as much as I did, Adina included. Even though she wasn't in it that much, I could really feel that like friendship bond between her and Peyton. And yeah, the first book holds a special place in my heart.
For sure. I feel that. Katie?
I want to say powerful.
Okay. You are
I
entitled
mean,
to say whatever you
I
like.
don't know, because it's hard because I love all of them, but I would say I finished Powerless in like 2 days. Finished
Yeah, you
Powerful,
flew through
and
that.
Powerful is a much smaller book, but I finished that in like an hour.
Yeah, it took
Oh,
me,
yeah,
it
you
took
can
it
finish
literally
that
But
quick.
like I
Yeah.
was sobbing.
You were
I was
sending us
sobbing. I
Snapchats.
was like sobbing from the beginning of the book because you know what's gonna happen by the end of the book,
Right.
and I'm sobbing because she's falling in love. What was his name?
Makoto.
Makoto.
Yeah, Makoto.
And I'm crying because I'm like, oh my god, they're falling in love and she's gonna die, and like, It was just too much.
I
It was too
know.
much.
I know.
But I loved it. And it was interesting to see another perspective of what was happening at the same time, and just more of like the king's politics were starting to come into play.
Right.
Because it felt so sudden at the end of Powerless, sorry, that the king was just like, and we're gonna throw her into the ring and she's gonna die. And so there
Yeah.
was like no lead up to that, and I was like, well, how do we get from point A to point B? What, like, it kind of showed more about how the king was putting pieces together while Peyton was in the trials. And it tore my heart out. So
I know it kind of reminds me a little bit of if you haven't read Throne of Glass.
I know what you're gonna say.
Sam and Selena.
I know.
I can't
I-
speak on this.
I know you didn't read Assassin's Blade, one of my favorites in the series, but it's fine. Love you, but it reminds me of when Sam goes off on his own, and
The tea sip. I forgot to read it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
it's okay. And he's like, "I'll be back," and he never
He never
comes back, and she had to. I get so sad. I love Sam so much.
So,
Okay.
I know what happens in the book. I don't know any of the dialogue. That hurts.
And then
Yeah,
when
it's
she's waiting, I know this is not the topic of today's
I know,
conversation.
but that's what
when
it reminds
she's-
me of.
But she then like waits for him to come home, and she's like watching the clock, and she like gets the house all clean and ready for him to come home, and he never comes home.
Oh, like Makoto and
Yeah.
Adina
But he watched her die.
Yeah.
She got to see him.
She
Mauled.
happened upon his
Yes.
mutilated
which
corpse.
okay, we gotta stop talking about this because
If you haven't
I
read
can't-
Assassin's Blade,
yeah, you need to read it.
I'll get there.
That was the first book I read like this year that got me back into reading. That's
Yeah.
why I'm into reading again.
Yeah.
And here we are.
This
You
is a hot take,
Ooh.
but I think that this was the first book reading since ACOTAR that I was like obsessed with, like you know how people joke and say, oh, it's not as good as ACOTAR, or I
Yeah.
need a book that's gonna be like on the same level of like
Mhm.
what I felt while reading ACOTAR.
Mhm.
That was this for me.
Yes! Oh my god. I was waiting. Oh my gosh.
And like
Yes!
I've read
No,
other
same.
things, and I was just like, that was good, but it wasn't ACOTAR.
Mhm.
And this, I was like, and like, I hate to say it, but even Throne of Glass, I think because it's Sarah J. Maas's writing,
It's okay.
it was just like it's a good series. It's a great
well,
series.
you didn't finish it yet
I also
either.
didn't finish it yet.
Okay. Like,
But-
let's relax.
But I think because I was like just trying to go on the Sarah J. Maas train and was
Right.
trying to plow through all the books, because I got burnt out doing that.
Fair.
I was like, is there going to be any other writing that's going to be as good as her writing? And so I was like, yeah, I loved ACOTAR. And then I was like, yeah, I love Throne of Glass series. But like, is there going to be something else that's gonna like be like, oh my, like it was like I
Right.
was reading for the first time.
No,
again.
yeah,
Like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
experience.
To piggyback off of that, I know exactly what you're talking about, because not that I was in a reading slump or a reading hangover, I just, after finishing Throne of Glass, I was kind of chasing that feeling and that
Yes.
love for the book series I was reading, because when that ended, I felt at a loss. I was like, no, that can't be the end. I need more. I need to know what's going to happen. I need to know where everything goes from here. And then in come Powerless
Yeah.
after like a string of a ton of books that I was just like not vibing with.
yeah.
I read Powerless and I was like, this is why I like reading
And
for this exact type of book.
And I feel like if I didn't read Throne of Glass this year, that this would have been my favorite
Yeah.
series. But sorry, nothing's going to top Throne of Glass.
Okay.
I
Okay.
love Throne of Glass, as we all know. That's all I talk about. But
I think I need to reread it because I'm like starting to forget how much I loved it. Like I remember what happens for the most part. I'm forgetting how much.
right, there's so much that happens, and sometimes I'm like, wait, which book was that in again?
Yeah.
Because they are big books, and it is a
Yeah.
lot. And
They all kind of bleed together.
Mhm.
Yeah,
because it
and-
is one big cohesive story. It's
Right.
not like there's time skips in between
100%.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I love it. But we can talk about Throne of Glass all day.
So,
So
if you could have, or if you were a Powerless character with an ability, what would you be?
I
I not to be that egotistical person that's like, I would be the most powerful. I genuinely think I would either be dual wielder or wielder. Right?
Yeah.
Dual. Because especially with Kitt, Fire and Ice, that is legitimately me.
Yes. Yeah, that's what you would be.
Thank you.
Because you're not a singer.
Not a singer. As I actively try my hardest to sound good.
You would be an amplifier.
Yeah. That's just me.
I'd be a sight. I'd just be recording things with my eyes.
Yeah.
I already
Yeah.
do, essentially.
Yeah. So, we talked about the first book. We went into the second book a little bit. So, Reckless. Wow. That ending. I don't know why I said it like that, but I did.
I'm just going to say I saw it coming.
Okay. We know. You're so cool.
No.
No, I'm
I
kidding.
think when
The seeds were laid.
the
The trail was there.
They were, but I,
Ignored it.
yeah. I am like, what's happening?
I think when Kitt first got that little box, I was like, oh, it's an engagement ring. Like, right off the bat.
Well,
was like,
I knew that. I
correct.
just didn't know he was going to propose to
Propose to
her.
her?
I
Well,
really
he's
thought
like-
he was going to try to kill her or
He was
something.
pining over her.
In the first book, he was obsessed with her. He
I
was
know, and that's
jealous
why
of
I feel
Kai.
stupid now because I'm like, wait, why did I not figure that out?
Because everybody's rooting for Kai, and then you don't see, like, Kitt being in
Right.
the corner, like, being a little creep. Not that he was a creep. Not that he
Little
was
creepy.
but, like,
Being
he
a
is
little perv.
He is
Yeah.
a little creep. I don't like Kitt at all.
I know.
I never did.
It's unfortunate. In the first book, I was like, okay. I'm still rooting for Kai, but okay.
Yeah.
He's just that, like, Kitt gives off, like, spoiled middle child energy. That,
Even
like,
though
when he
he's the
doesn't,
oldest.
doesn't get what he wants, and then, like, throws a little temper tantrum. So, like,
Fair.
I mean,
didn't
I feel
get,
like every
you know-
king is like that.
No, but, like, even before he was king, he had, like, middle child energy.
Not Dorian. Sorry. I'm always defending
We're not
him.
going back to Throne of Glass right now. And yes, he did give up stuck up energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're moving on.
Anyway. I don't like Kitt. I saw it coming.
Fair.
And I knew it. I knew, like, there's no way she's getting killed because she's a main character. So, like,
Yeah.
that doesn't happen.
I think everybody would have been like, oh, I'm
Oh,
done.
Especially
Goodbye.
Especially because Lauren said there's other books coming.
Right.
That doesn't mean
Um,
that don't mean poop.
I know,
Kai could
I
become the
know.
main character. And his mission is to fight Kitt because
Yeah.
he killed the love of his life.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Don't even say that.
But-
She's not
I
dead.
know. I love her. I'm sorry. I'm feeling
I know.
emotional tonight.
But, yeah, I mean, this was a good book. It was just, it was I thought you were showing off your water bottle for a second. I was
Look
like,
at
what
my
are you
water bottle.
doing? It was very different from Powerless.
Yeah, and I
in
feel like
that it was just, their character development the whole time.
yeah, a lot of people didn't like Reckless because of that. They were like, it's so different and it's just about them and I want to see more. But it's like, we kind of needed this.
Yeah.
You'll
Oh,
get
100%.
more.
Right. Like, we're going to get more and we're going to see. The third book is going to be crazy,
Yes.
obviously.
Yes.
And a lot of people are like, this Reckless book is smaller. It's just about them, blah, blah, blah. And people are just, I get it. Like, if you didn't like it, you didn't like it. But you needed that. I feel like usually second books of like trilogies or like even shows, like in the middle, you're kind of like learning more about these characters because then you want to care more. And as we know, right before Kitt is like, you're marrying me, dog. Sorry, you're
They
beat.
had that whole moment in the field.
Right.
And they couldn't have had that moment in the field if they didn't have the entire of the rest of this book.
Correct.
Like, he couldn't have just been like, you're coming with me, Missy, and now we're frolicking in a field. Like, there had to be like this epic build up. Yeah,
right. And
stakes.
it feels more like emotionally like connecting to the
Yes.
characters as well. Like, you're learning more about their past, and we learned more again about their sister that passed away too.
Yes.
Like, that was crazy. I don't
And it
in
was
the
hinted. It was in the first one, and I was like,
okay, yeah.
what is he talking about? And it didn't register with me.
Yeah, and then in the physical book, there's like the family tree, and I was like, okay, but that's right. They alluded to like some type of sister happening, whatever,
Yeah.
and then he goes into like just how important she was to him and how Kitt kind of like was pushing her off too, and
Because it wasn't technically his sister,
right,
which is shitty, but like,
right.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
It's hard for me to like remember some of this because I read Powerless in February.
Yeah, you read it a while ago.
And then I've been like patiently waiting for Reckless, but I've been reading so many other stuff. I just have so much on my TBR that like I've just been reading other stuff that I didn't have time to reread Powerless. But what I did do was I read Powerful like maybe a week or two before we went to the midnight release of Reckless. So that was a little bit of a refresher. Yeah. Oh.
Oh.
At the midnight release when we were at the Q&A, there, remember the girl that stood up and asked if Makoto was going to be
Yes,
in the next
I knew
book?
you were going to bring this up. I was waiting for you to bring this up. I
I
know.
love Makoto.
I know. I feel like that's
Anyway.
the next novella. Is that what
He's
you're going
gotta
to say?
show up at least in the next novella.
Well, she did kind of allude to like
Him showing.
him showing up at some point. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's going to be the novella or
I mean,
just the next book.
I feel like, sorry to cut you off, I feel like
No, I'm done.
she
You're-
has to build him up to be something of a big character.
Yeah.
Because, like, it would be one thing if it was just, okay, this is the one-off love story, but the fact that he's a wielder, like,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that already is, like,
The only other
stakes
one.
involved, and that's a threat to Kai. Well, it's a threat to Kitt and the kingdom, but, like,
Mhm.
yeah, there has to be something else with him because he's got such a significant, like,
Page the light bulb that just went off in your head. What do you have to say?
no, I'm just saying, like, he's too powerful,
Yeah.
and, like, I would have said the same thing about the silencer if they didn't kill him in the first book. That,
Mhm.
like, either Makoto's gonna join this resistance, and now he's a major threat, and he's almost equal to Kai in that sense, when the resistance could go essentially head to head with the kingdom now, and be like at the same like power level in terms of strength. But if he was just like, I don't know, like a phaser or something, like I would be like, oh, and their love story's done, and he's just gonna go off into the world. Like,
Yeah.
now.
And then, was it one of you? I forget. Somebody sent me that they think that Peyton actually has some type of power. Didn't you
That was
guys?
Paige.
Okay, that was Paige.
But you go first, because I have opinions on that as well.
I don't remember what I said about that, but I do remember
You sent
having
me a
that
video.
thought.
I think you sent me a video that
Right.
someone had or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
So my big light bulb moment from before.
yeah, that was crazy.
I had just like a thought. It wasn't like anything groundbreaking, but I was like, maybe the reason Kai has never found Makoto as a wielder, because if he's around another wielder,
They just seem like an ordinary.
you can't draw anything from it.
Yeah,
right.
Because
right.
you draw from everybody else.
Mhm.
So I wonder if you draw from somebody else as a wielder, and the wielder that's near you can draw from the power that you're now wielding.
Right.
So it just seems like they're a phaser, or they're like a duel
Exactly.
or a brood or
So,
something. Yeah, or brawny.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's
Hmm.
interesting.
But yeah, Peyton having a power, that, I feel like her hair is like a huge clue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's the only one with silver hair.
I know, and they cut it too.
I know.
And everybody's like, "Don't touch her hair,
Hold on,
Lauren." I'm
Katie.
I might have a light bulb moment. This must
Katie,
be
what's
such
happening?
a stretch. This must be such a stretch.
like, "What is it?"
So, well, let me go back in my brain train a little bit. What I was gonna say was, I was blind to this when it happened. I was like, oh my goodness, major reveal. Was when we found out that like Peyton's dad was not her biological dad.
Oh right.
Oh,
I
yeah.
I
yes,
was like,
that was
which
wild.
That should have been obvious when when
Well, yeah.
4 chapters prior, Kai's like, well, wouldn't you be like a mix? Like, wouldn't you be like half ordinary, half healer? And which I didn't realize that powers are genetically passed on, like that the ability would be passed on to the kids. I
Right.
just thought that they would just have an ability, like
Okay.
they could have whatever ability, but I didn't realize that it goes like
Mhm.
passed
Yeah.
down like that. But my hot take, and this is again a stretch, but it's fun to just play pretend for a second.
I'm scared.
What if Hayden is a wielder, but
doesn't know
Kai can't tap into it because he's also a wielder, so she is thought of as an ordinary, and she doesn't know she's a wielder because she hasn't like discovered it. That's a stretch, though. Do you know what I mean, though?
Yeah, because I mean, she's never been taught. If she is a wielder, how to siphon other powers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, she might not know what it feels like to feel that other power.
Yeah.
She might just, you know, you never, that, I mean,
Because you said silver hair, that like obviously,
yeah.
that was, the hair color was another thing that was given to like elite children.
Right.
from
It's
the
either
plague.
that and she's like some crazy like royal person, or she literally is just an ordinary that they were like, all right, peace, we don't want her.
As of
Which
right
is-
now, my thoughts are either she is the walking antidote to whatever
Ooh.
this disease is. Kind of like Tangled, how when her hair.
Oh, okay.
And that's why she was dropped off at the healer's house. The
Yeah.
one healer who was
Yeah.
rebellious.
Guys, chills. I
Um,
have chills.
the other one, I hope this isn't true because I hate when authors do this. They'll build such an amazing love story that you root for, and then you find out the characters are fucking related. Imagine if she
Ooh.
is actually related to Kitt's mom.
Whoa. That
Mm.
would be terrible.
That would be world shattering and also heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But if she's related to Kitt's mom, but not Kitt's dad, her and Kai
Could still be a thing.
can still be together.
And Kitt can't,
True.
unless he's gonna
And
pass
Kitt
some.
can't.
Unless
Kit
some
Kat
ba-
can't do his crap.
Kit Kat can't. Kit Kat can't.
Unless he's gonna pass some royal decree and like be like, and we are now the state of Alabama.
Well, I mean, a lot of monarchy marry their cousins. I
Yeah,
know none
to
of us
keep
have
the
read.
bloodline alive.
Yeah, I know that none of us have read Game of Thrones. I'm assuming
But the
some of us
show.
have like seen it.
Yes.
It's like major crossbreeding, and I don't mean.
Yeah.
And I know
Yes.
that like on the show, like incest is frowned upon,
Mm.
but cousins marrying cousins,
It's
it's
fine.
fine.
It's fun. Yeah,
don't know.
that would be an interesting thing to happen.
I like this little conspiracy theory segment that we do.
Yeah, it's so interesting,
down a
especially
rabbit hole.
because there might be people, you know, listening to this and they're like, oh my gosh, I thought that too. Or like, wow, I never thought of that. Or there might be people,
They have their own theories.
yeah, and, you know, we read it and it's like, oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
Lauren Roberts, if you're watching, please let us know.
And please do not write.
Do
not
not-
write Peyton.
Do not
Kitt's
make
cousin
Peyton
or
related to
Kai.
Kai in any way. Please.
She's the long lost princess.
Of what?
I don't know. I'm just saying like, that's a good trope. She's the long lost princess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Oh my god.
And the antidote. Let's just make it Tangled at that point.
yeah.
Fair.
But like anytime I read about a character who has a hair color that is very different, I'm always like, oh, it's because they're the main character. They have to be quirky. They have to be unique. There has to be
I'm
something
different.
about them that separates them from everybody else.
Right.
But then I'm like, okay, silver hair, not white, not like platinum blonde, like silver. That's odd.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there is another book that we have read that Katie hasn't read yet, so I can't go too much into it. But in Fourth Wing, Violet's silver tips relates to the story.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Lauren does make it a big point in the beginning of Powerless to specifically go out of the way to say, hey, people with colored hair is a thing, and it means that they have this, like, this, not lineage, but that there is that elite bloodline somewhere in them. You know?
Yeah, I don't remember a lot about it. Bless you. I don't remember a lot about the first. Not that I don't remember a lot about the first book. It's my favorite book I read this year.
No, I know
but
what you mean.
the main,
Those little details.
I took that away from my face. The main, not even the main, the minor details, like you
Yes.
just said, they get lost on me. So
Yeah,
I'll forget
fair.
about tiny things like that. But you know what I will remember? I'll remember the fact that she has silver hair. She loves sticky buns. She had a friend, Adina, who died. She loves Kai. And Kai loves her. And Kai's a wielder. And Kitt sucks.
Yay, that's the summary of Powerless.
I do have to say, I don't know what a sticky bun is, but I want one now.
It's like a honey bun.
Well, yes, but I like the way it was described. I don't picture like the little Debbie
Honey bun?
honey
Yeah,
buns.
you're picturing something like way more tasty.
Oh my goodness, I want to try.
I'm
We should make them.
Ooh,
We should
yes.
make
You know what
honey
I'm
buns.
So I always think of them kind of like the beignets,
Yes,
or
but like covered in honey.
yeah,
Yeah.
but or the sweet rolls or the sticky buns from Brave.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I'm picturing more of like a beignet.
I'm picturing like a beignet. I'm picturing a cinnamon roll.
Yes,
with
same. Sorry, that was
cinnamon,
loud.
sugar, and honey and powdered
Yes.
sugar.
Yes.
It's like a beignet / cinnamon roll.
Yeah, agreed.
Ooh.
So, on that note, what do you think is going to play out in the third and final installment of the trilogy? Not the novella. What do you think is going to happen in the
Right,
third
the
book,
end.
Fearless?
Do you want to go first, Katie, or me?
Well, I'm gonna say what
Okay.
is gonna happen is that she's gonna end up with Kai.
She better.
She better, or we're
I
throwing
think
hands.
We will riot.
I think it's gonna be this like kind of similar to Akamath, in which like, or was it Akamath or was it
Court of Mist and Fury is Akamath.
what?
Which one are you talking about?
When not Akamath. A Court of Wings and Ruin. When Feyre goes back to the Spring Court and she's like like a spy type.
Infiltrates from the
So
inside.
I think it's gonna be
Ooh.
that kind of vibe where Peyton is gonna be really sweet to Kitt's face and like, yes, darling, we're gonna get married, and it's more of like she's stringing him along to do like resistance stuff behind the scenes, and Kai's gonna join her, and there's gonna be this little romance going on behind the scenes of them like still kind of having their little fling thing until some build up at the end, and then like a big like, sorry Kitt, goodbye, that kind of
I
vibe.
kill
And
you
Kitt's
now.
gonna go.
Yeah.
No, I don't even know if he's gonna get killed, but like I think Kitt's gonna go insane. Like I think Kitt's gonna slowly
Lose
keep
his mind.
unraveling
Mm-hmm.
as he's courting or like engaged to Peyton, and it's not gonna be healthy,
Okay.
but it's gonna
Yeah.
happen. What are your thoughts?
Paige, do you want to say something? You look like you were like.
Oh, I was just thinking if Kai dies in the third book, I'm gonna riot. In
Oh
the
yeah,
streets.
we're throwing hands.
Yeah.
I think at the end, obviously, like you said, she's got to end up with Kai. I mean,
Must.
don't let us down. Don't let us down, please. We need this. But I think there's a good chance, we'll find out. Maybe she has some type of power. I don't know what type of power, but maybe it's a stretch, but maybe a little. I think that she'll meet Makoto. I think that's gonna happen.
That's
and
gonna be heart wrenching.
yeah,
Mhm.
and it's gonna be hard. Like, oh, I was really good friends with,
Your bestie.
Yeah.
I was in love with Adina.
literally.
God dang it.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly how the book will end, like the series will end. I guess that's kind of hard for me to predict, but I think, again, those things that I said, I believe will happen in the book. I just don't know how she's going to wrap it all together. So I'm very curious to see how everything kind of plays out, especially with like the disease of like,
yes.
like what's going to happen with that.
Ordinaries are not
Right.
know,
And like,
stifling
is this
power.
book going to be them, trying to show them like, whatever, especially him like marrying or being engaged to Peyton? Is it kind of him trying to show them that there's no disease? Like it's very interesting dynamic and everything that's going on with, I don't know. There's just a lot going through my head
You
that it's
see,
like, what?
I feel like, because I know Kitt was like, I'll explain everything later, like you all have to trust me. I feel like his reason for wanting to marry Peyton isn't for any sort of like political reason or kingdom reason. I feel like it's his personal selfish reason because he's like obsessed with her, and
Fair.
he's going to justify it politically. It's not like, hey, this is a good power move for our kingdom to
Right.
like unite us. I think he just is like so obsessed with Peyton that he's like, I want her and I'm gonna have her, and then I'm gonna spin it to be, whatever to like kind of justify why I'm
Yeah.
having
Okay.
her.
That's fair. Yeah. That's interesting. Paige.
I feel like both good points.
I know it's hard to like predict like how she's gonna end
Well,
it.
it's not even that. I'm like trying to go off of what you guys said. So you think it's gonna be like a behind the scenes, she's really gonna be with Kai, but she's gonna be like nice to Kitt's face and like doing the whole rebellion thing.
Kind of like the first book.
Yeah.
Second
But
to
this time
last.
she has
Okay.
Kai on her side. First off, we don't even know what she says. The final lines in the book are like, "You will be my bride."
True. I
And
wonder
it
if she's like,
ends.
nah.
I wonder what's gonna happen in that room, if she's gonna say no and fight it and like get thrown in the dungeon, and then Kai will have to help her.
I know. I wonder what her power move will be there. Like,
Uh,
very interesting.
shoot. I also had something else to say. What were you talking about again? I'm trying to jog my memory.
We were talking about just, I don't even know. There's so many things we were talking about, like
Right.
her maybe having powers, or just
Yeah.
like how she's gonna handle Kitt in the end, and yeah, it's just crazy.
Darn, because I had something to say to play off of what you were talking about.
I don't remember.
Right.
I'm just not even gonna comment
I-
on what the boys are saying.
I really want to find out what the story is with Aelin. Whoa.
Throwing a glass.
Aiden.
My bad. Throwing a glass on the brain. I really want to know what the hell is going on with Peyton's actual parents, like her
Yes.
lineage. I want to know who
Yeah.
her dad was, who her mom was. I'm worried that this is going to turn into a situation where the king somehow did illegal activities with her actual mother and she's that product. I don't
That'd be
know.
kind of gross.
That would be. And I'm so used to reading dark romance and dark fantasy that
Right.
that is just
Often.
lodged in my brain.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
high
I mean,
fantasy, it happens a lot.
Yeah. I mean, anything at this point I feel like is possible that can happen in this book.
She could also potentially just stay ordinary.
Yeah.
And there might not be she might not have any special ability. And I would actually love and live for that because
And I could
It never happens in
Oh my
books.
god.
no, they always have something by the end.
I could
Yeah.
see Kai being like, it doesn't matter that you're just an ordinary. You're not ordinary to me.
You have the
So-
power to steal my heart.
Wow.
Womp womp. No, that was good. I felt that. But yeah, I don't know. It's
Done.
it's definitely very interesting. And
Oof.
ew, gross. Is there anything else we want to say about the books, or we think we're
They're amazing. Go read them.
Love them. 10 out of 10.
It's my favorite book of the year.
Yes. We love Powerless, Powerful, and Reckless by Lauren Roberts. We are very excited for Fearless to come out in April of 2025. If you have not, you can pre-order the book now on like all different websites and all that stuff. But if you guys enjoyed our podcast, we would love if you could subscribe, follow all of the social medias below in the description and all that fun stuff. And we appreciate you guys for being here and for listening to us rant about books. And yeah, we hope you'll come back for the next episode where
Yeah.
we'll be talking one of my favorite series ever.
It only gets more interesting, guys.
Yay! All
All
right.
right.
Peace out,
Bye.
guys. See you later. Bye.
Mwah.